sabotagey, doesn't it? We need to talk about the Taylor Frankie Paul situation because what is even happening? First and foremost, I want to say, obviously, yes, they are influencers that we're talking about, but also reality TV. And reality TV is not real. On reality TV, you get what the producers want. You don't get necessarily the full story. So keep in mind, there's 3 sides to every story. His, hers, and the truth is normally somewhere in between. We don't know the actual truth about anything. We just know what has been determined by courts, what we've seen. We don't know all the intricacies. So, prefacing with that, and also with, all of this is alleged, so don't sue me. Listen, I love Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. I do. I love it so much. Taylor has never been my favorite on the show, but I don't dislike her. I'm not coming at this as, I love Taylor and she can do no wrong. She's human. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Taylor Frankie Paul, she is on Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. She is an influencer. Her and her on-off ex, Dakota Mortensen, they got into a big blowout. I want to say it was about 3 years back. Back when it happened, there was police body cam of that out. It was before the show even started. But very recently, there was more footage from the 2023 incident that was released. And it was Dakota's footage. In 2023, there were domestic violence charges against Taylor Frankie Paul. She pled guilty, she took accountability. But I feel like people are forgetting what the 911 call was in that situation to begin with. A neighbor called saying that they heard a woman screaming, "Get off of me, get off of me," continuously screaming. And then they heard the garage door continuously opening and closing as if somebody was trying to get out of the garage. In the police body cam footage, when they get there, Taylor says, "He threw me in the garage. He locked me in the garage." We only see footage of what happened after she got back into the house from the garage. I'm not saying that she was 100% in the right. I don't think that hitting somebody is in the right. I don't think that throwing a chair at your on-off spouse and accidentally hitting your child is all right. I don't think that's okay. But we also don't see what led to that point. Also, let's not forget that Dakota moved towards her daughter while they were fighting. If he wanted to protect her child, he could have not moved towards her, but he did. Now again, this was back in 2023. Taylor has taken accountability for this. She's pled guilty, she's on probation. She acknowledged all this. She acknowledged that she messed up. So why are we still talking about her and still talking about this incident? Let's fast forward to now. Taylor was supposed to be this season's Bachelorette, which I was excited for. I love The Bachelor/Bachelorette, and I love Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, so I was amped for this. This season of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives came out, and we saw Taylor almost not going to The Bachelorette because Dakota came over the night before and spent the night with her. And then while she was on her way to the airport, he asked her to be with him and to save a rose for him. I'm sorry, but to me that's manipulative. People say that Taylor has all these issues because, oh, she's allowed to date or hook up with whoever she wants, but whenever Dakota does, it's a problem. I understand viewing it that way, but Dakota is choosing people in Taylor's inner circle. Taylor's choosing people that are not part of the inner circle. Dakota hooked up with Taylor's mom's best friend. Dakota hooked up with one of Taylor's friends. He's literally hooking up with her inner circle so he knows it'll get back to her. And he knows that it's people that mean something to her, so it'll hurt more. Say that he's just an idiot. Say that hypothetically he doesn't hook up with these people because he knows they'll hurt her. Say hypothetically he's just an idiot and just hooking up with whoever he can. Why would you be telling her, "I love you, I want to work on our family and get back together," and then hook up with someone else? And then continue to tell her that you want to get back together with her? That is manipulative. Now don't get me wrong, I'm also not saying that that justifies domestic violence, because it doesn't. But let's get into what's actually been causing the headlines. The day before The Bachelorette was supposed to premiere, Dakota's point of view footage from the 2023 incident was leaked. TMZ got it, released it. Everyone thinks that they just got it from the courts, but they didn't. People have tried to get that footage from the courts before and they were unable to. The only person that we know had that footage, other than the courts, was Dakota. And the fact that it came out the day before The Bachelorette was supposed to come out just seems a little sabotagey, doesn't it? But with that also came news of a new 2026 domestic violence incident. And that's the the big thing to talk about. They say that Taylor was in Dakota's car and was beating the crap out of him. That is the summarized version of what people are saying online. If you actually do research, if you actually read full articles and pay attention to what people are saying, Taylor got into the car to talk to him. He drove off, leaving the kids at home unattended. She apparently tried to get out of the car. He smashed her head into his dashboard or the screen on his car, depending on where you're getting your information from. She was kicking, she threw a soda at him because she was trying to get out of the car. So pretty much she was kidnapped, abandoning her children. Let's let that sink in. Even if it wasn't kidnapping, even if it was, you know, oh, she and I are driving somewhere to talk, why is he okay with taking her somewhere out of the home, knowing that 3 children are inside the house? I have also heard that he got into the car to leave and she hopped in the car, so if that is what happened, again, 3 sides to every story. If that is what happened, then technically he's not in the wrong if he tried to leave and she hopped in the car, but most of what I heard doesn't point in that direction. It points in the other direction, but again, 3 sides to every story. This incident, she didn't press charges for the giant bruise on her forehead from getting her head smashed. He didn't even press charges, his roommate did. His roommate called the police because he saw scratches on Dakota's neck. Which, I will say, any good friend would call the police if their friend shows up with bruises. But it seems a little calculated. Dakota then went out and got a protective order against Taylor, so he was keeping their son. Plot twist, police body cam footage just came out from when the cops were talking to Dakota, and it was their son's birthday. It literally was on their son's birthday, and he said he was supposed to give their son back to Taylor that day, and he did not want to because he did not feel comfortable doing that, and that Taylor's ex was going to be taking her other 2 children as well. Taylor ended up getting supervised visitation with her kids, but it just came out that charges were not being pressed against Taylor. They were not pursuing charges due to lack of evidence. A lot of people online are saying, oh, that means an abuser is walking free. And a lot of people are saying, good, it's proof that Taylor didn't do anything. If you view it with a critical eye, it feels like it's somewhere in the middle. I'll be 100% honest. When I saw the original police body cam footage from the 2023 incident, it was giving Gabby Petito. I hate to make that comparison, but it was. And I look at everything that's happened since, and that's what it gives for me. Everybody says, oh no, Taylor is an abuser, like, she has been abusing him, she admitted to it in the 2023 incident. Yeah, but when the police talked to Gabby Petito, she also said it was her fault, and that she's the one that hurt Brian. Keep that in mind, that a lot of the time, if you are abused, and you are driven to the point of near insanity, you do think it's your fault. Look at all these things happening to Taylor. Anytime something starts to go good for her, anytime she starts to move on, there's sabotage. Her own child's birthday, she doesn't get to spend with her child. And then the texts were leaked. The texts do not paint Dakota in the best light, if I'm being honest. Thank you, TMZ, for releasing them, I guess? It starts with Dakota, I want to say whining, because that's what it's giving. He tells Taylor that he's not doing well, and when she asks what's going on, he says that he feels broken, he needs love, he feels lost, and Taylor doesn't love him and doesn't want him, and that's why it hurts so bad. And he feels unworthy of love. Taylor says that she hates that everything that's happening is happening and that she wishes that she was stronger. And Dakota then proceeds to say, I know, and now I have to watch you fall in love with the rest of the world and give every guy a side of you I've craved every day. I can't. Huh. A little suspicious that happens right before footage leaks, but we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. The next texts are from the next morning. Taylor says, my nose is broken and I need to go to the ER, it's gushing blood. And Dakota says, I'm literally here, open the door. Taylor says, I can't leave yet, I have my kids, I'll go tomorrow and I'll shove cotton in. And he says, and this is a direct quote, these are the texts, I'll watch them, or let me help, open the door, you don't want to fuck. Taylor says, fuck, my nose won't stop gushing blood, what the fuck is wrong with you? Dakota, ever the gentleman, says, weird, on the phone call you asked if I wanted to. Strange, I offered to help. And Taylor says, I said talk. The fuck? And Dakota says, OMG, sure. Actually, I'm good. Fuck this, my truck is fucked. Goodbye. Fuck your abuse. And then he throws in the peace sign emoji, just for funsies. Taylor responds and says, fuck yours. And Dakota says, see you in court. Just a little suspicious to me. I'm sorry, but the way things are lining up, just a little a little suspicious. Listen, I'm not here to bash Dakota. Obviously, the producers would rather have Taylor be the good guy and Dakota be the bad guy. What I'm seeing, though, genuinely screams reactive abuse. Let's look at Taylor's history. She was with her ex-husband, had 2 kids with him. There were never any abuse allegations in that relationship. But then even just what they show on the show. If you look at when her and Dakota had broken up and she went to a cookout with her parents, and her parents pretty much insinuated that she was a slut for being with Dakota. I'm not saying anything negative about her parents as people, just the way that that was portrayed on the show was not good, was not a healthy environment. But she was also raised in the Mormon culture and in Utah. Please keep in mind, I know it's not all of Utah, I know it's not all of Mormon culture, but traditionally, they believe that the woman should stay at home, raise the kids, do whatever the husband says, just be a good docile housewife. She's not being subservient to Dakota. And people will probably have an issue with that in, the Mormon culture and in Utah. So when the police show up and a man is saying, oh, this woman is acting this way, they're going to be more skeptical of her because it's just the culture. Again, I'm not saying that Utah says that domestic violence is okay, but I'm saying that they expect women to be subservient to their men. In the Mormon culture, at least. Or let me specify, in traditional Mormon culture. So Taylor's in an environment that says, let Dakota do what he wants, let Dakota say what he wants, you should be listening to him and respecting him. She has Dakota in her ear, trying to ruin everything good she has in her life. She knows what's best for herself is to move on, but she keeps going back to him because she feels like she has to. Do I feel like some of this is because she already went through one divorce and she doesn't want another broken home for her children? Yes. I don't know her personally, but I can very much see that being the reasoning. Dakota also just has some hold over her that he shouldn't. No human should have that kind of hold over another human. And that hold is what points towards reactive abuse. I know that word gets thrown around a lot, but if you've never lived through a situation like that, you wouldn't understand it. You might think that you do, but until you've lived through a situation like that, you would never understand it. I unfortunately lived through a similar situation where I lived with somebody that pushed me to my breaking point every single day. It wasn't physically, and I never got physical back with them, but I always tried to stay calm, stay cool, just pretend that nothing was happening. They didn't like that. They went out of their way to try to instigate me. They tried to have me lose my job at one point because they were mad at me. So they wanted me to lose my job to be 100% dependent on them. They isolate you. They spin their own version of the narrative. And normally the person that's doing this is a narcissist. And narcissists are very, very personable. If you don't actually know the nitty-gritty of what happens behind closed doors, most narcissists you think are great people. Most narcissists seem like they would be the victim, like they couldn't do anything wrong. But that's their mask. That's what they show to the general public. What happens behind closed doors is very different. Again, I'm not saying that Dakota is a narcissist. I'm saying that my experience was with a narcissist. And it reminds me a lot of seeing Dakota and Taylor. The constantly being pushed until you snap, but then being convinced that you're the crazy one for snapping. You can't have anything good in your life because anything good that happens, it's good for you, but it's bad for them because that means that you're happy. They don't want you happy. They want you subservient to them. And then the worst part is that they make you think that genuinely everything is your fault. Nobody's perfect, we all make mistakes, but when it comes to Taylor, we've only really heard Dakota's side. We haven't heard Taylor talk much about what happened. I feel like other than the other mom talk girls, she hasn't had anyone to tell her, Taylor, he is so bad for you. And she just sees that as her friends not liking him, which makes sense, and she knows that he's bad for her, but she keeps going back, and by doing that, she's isolating herself from the other girls. She's pushing them all away because he still has this hold over her. Narcissists and abusers will push away everybody in your inner circle. As we saw at the cookout in season 2. Her parents were Team Dakota. I mean, yes, in later seasons we find out they're not very big fans of Dakota anymore, but she kept getting that drilled into her was, no, be with him, forgive him, be with him, work it out. Now it's so ingrained into her that she thinks she's the abuser, when to an outside party, you can see it's reactive abuse if you've been through it. If you've never been through it, you don't know reactive abuse. I understand that. I understand people saying, no, she's abusive. but it is reactive. We don't talk about reactive abuse enough. Lord knows that if we talked about the police body cam from Gabby Petito before Brian killed her, if you only saw when the cops pulled them over, you would say, oh, that girl's abusing him. Like, that's insane. She's admitting to it. That girl is abusive. No, it was reactive. And I see so many similarities between that and between Taylor and Dakota. Again, 3 sides to every story. We only see what has been put out by Dakota, a little bit of what's been put out by Taylor, not much but a little bit, and then what the show has edited to say. We don't know what actually happens behind closed doors. We don't know all the details about anything. I know I sound like I'm just bashing on Dakota. I don't know him personally. I can't say without a doubt Dakota did this or Dakota didn't do this or Taylor did or didn't do this. I can just say what I observe as someone who has been in an abusive relationship and somebody who has lived with a narcissist. I got out, but Taylor has a child with him. Taylor can't just get away. Also, I feel I need to point out again, Taylor's ex has never said anything about any domestic violence between the two of them. But Dakota's exes have come forward and said that there was domestic violence in previous relationships. So somebody has a pattern of abuse, and it's not Taylor. This video isn't to bash Dakota or to tell you that Taylor is innocent. It's more to open your eyes to the fact that there's so many different ways that things can happen. There's so many different ways that things can present. It's not just one person is innocent and one person is an abuser. There's so many different layers. As of right now, charges against Taylor have been dropped due to lack of evidence. That doesn't necessarily mean that nothing happened. That means that there is no evidence. But it could mean nothing happened. But it just means that there's no evidence. Listen, do I take this case personally? Yeah, kind of. As somebody who has been in a similar situation, I do take it personally. But people are so quick to rush to judgment on either of them. At the end of the day, the people that we should be worried about, while yes, I do fear for both of them and their mental states, I'm worried about her kids. I'm worried about her kids seeing this. If this is just what we know about, what is happening behind closed doors that her kids are witnessing? That's what I'm worried about. This isn't about how it affects Taylor. This isn't about how it affects Dakota. This is about the fact that there's 3 children to think about. My honest opinion is that I feel like they just shouldn't speak to each other anymore, and they should just exchange their child at either through a third party or at the police station, and they should only communicate through those parenting apps so that everything is documented for the court. But I don't see that happening. I see this type of relationship far too often, and I don't see his hold on her ever going away. I really hope it does. I really hope that this has broken whatever spell he has over her and that they both get to thrive. But mostly I hope that the kids get to thrive. At the end of the day, just don't rush to judge people. Reactive abuse is real. It is always possible that she could be abusive. But from what I see, it doesn't seem like that, but I'm not going to fully rule it out. I just don't see that. I don't see that at all. I see somebody that's been beaten down and broken, and I genuinely just hope that everyone involved gets the help that they need. At the end of the day, Secret Lives of Mormon Wives is a show, yes, but this is also people's real lives. This affects a lot more than just a show. Alright besties, I know this wasn't as upbeat as normal, but like I just had to get all this off my chest, and I feel like by the time this is up, even more information will probably end up coming out. So keep that in mind, that this is a developing incident. This is a developing story. Things keep changing. If you like my content, make sure to subscribe. I put new videos every Wednesday, Sunday, and then alternating Mondays and Fridays. Fridays, Feral Fridays. I post whatever I feel like posting. Today, it's a commentary on Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. When you do subscribe, make sure to hit the bell, otherwise YouTube will never tell you when I post new videos. It's a little bit broken like that. Also, make sure to give the video a thumbs up. It really does help boost my small channel in the algorithm a lot more than you would think it does. If you want to help support the channel, I do have a Patreon and a Ko-fi, both of which will be linked below. I also launched a Discord, so if you want to join that, that will also be linked below. I love you all, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.
I know what I like, baby, I like you. Miss American Pie with the high IQ. Oh my, I do, just fly right through. We'll get high as a kite in the afternoon, cause I know what